All right, guys, so I already talked about this on the Duck Chronicles, but we're going to have a much more detailed explanation today because I have Nick Ferguson with me to hold the camera. What we're going to do here is we have to deal with an area that's becoming very compacted and overly fertile. And if you look down here at the ground, you can see what this looks like. And this is actually soaking wet, and it's cracking because it dries and gets wet every day over and over again. And we haven't had rain in months. And yet this area looks like this. So the reason it looks like this is come over here. See, just this morning we had to dump their water. This is their overnight water. It's important that ducks can clean out their beaks, they can get their eyes wet. So we have these 15-gallon tubs that we give them water overnight. And to keep it out of their area, keep their eggs clean, we've built like a temporary solution here with just some pavers and some half cinder blocks. And what that does is make sure all the water comes out here, but we end up with this mess. Now at the same time, Dorothy loves willow trees, so last year I planted a willow for her over there, and they need lots of water. And they can take all the fertility that you can possibly give them, and they have no problem with it. And the reason we planted that willow tree is one of the live oaks that died, that was removed, created what we call a natural well. If you think of like a cenote in Mexico, it's like a miniature cenote, and it's limestone just like it is there. And there's one right here. So, right, of course, we'll just wait for the F-35 to strafe me. Come on. So, the black helicopters will be here next. They really will. Anyway, so what happens is the tree managed to grow here. And if I take a shovel right there, you can dig about 2 to 3 inches maximum before you end up on slab limestone. We can actually dig a hole here several feet deep for about the radius of this natural well. And what that is the roots with its exudates have gotten into the calcium rock, and you've got an acid and a base together, and it's basically created this hole. And this is what the tree can do that, you know, it takes a $350,000 excavator to do otherwise, and that's actually eat down into this rock. So we need to get as many trees in this property as possible. What we're going to do here is put in another willow tree. And then if you follow me around, Nick, coming up here to a spot that's a little higher, so we have some gravity to work with us, plus we're going to build up. We're going to build something that's going to look like a really low barbecue pit, like a 1-layer cinder block barbecue pit, and inside it we'll pour a couple inches of concrete with a drain, just like a drain in your bathtub. And across the top of it will be a grate, and around it will be a ring of half cinder blocks, so it's easy for the ducks to get up onto that level. That'll create a raised drain, so the bottom of the drain will be about this high. So it's above that willow and that willow. So we can take a piece of 2-inch PVC then and come out and put a splitter valve right on the outside of the fence, so it's really easy to change from the outside. And all we do each day is just open one valve and close the other. And all of that highly fertile water that's making just a mess out of this place will go straight into little, basically almost like lake features that we'll put around those willow trees. So each day, each willow, or every other day, each willow tree will get 45 gallons of highly fertile water. And those willows will explode when we do that. And what we'll have are 2 huge shade trees here. And we've got them located just by luck, the 2 wells, one on each side of that dividing fence. And that means that when we put our ducks out, whether they're on one side or the other, they're going to have lots of shade, because that tree by next year will really kind of explode. So that's how we're going to handle all this water. And it's a function stacking by necessity. It's not a function stacking like we want this to happen. It's like we got to deal with this. So how do we make dealing with this actually give us something we want, which is more fertility for our willow trees, not having to manually water them every day, not have to run, you know, expensive irrigation to them or whatever, and get all that fertility put to use and clean up that problem at the same time. So that's how we're going to handle it.